Hey everybody, what's going on? Mark here with you. So this week's episode is an exclusive Patreon interview that we did with our buddy Adam Benedict. As many of you know, Adam is from the Barrens.com. He is also the author of Monsters in Print, a collection of curious creatures known mostly from newspapers. It is a book that we have referenced on this show many a time. We have a couple of episodes that we pulled directly from this book with Adam's research. So be sure to check that book out. The link will be in the description of this podcast where you can purchase it on Amazon. And be sure to check out Adam's work at thepinebarrensinstitute.com. Back in April, when the whole pandemic thing sort of started, we were lucky enough to actually get together with Adam, and connect over the internet and talk and have this interview, which was super cool. We've been talking to Adam for so long on the socials, but never an actual proper sit-down interview with him. So it was really nice to talk to Adam. He's such a great dude, and we love his work. So it's nice to be able to finally release this, to the public. Also, too, in this October 2020, Adam has a new book coming out. It is Ghosts in Print, an assemblage of spirits, spooks, and specters from newspapers of old. That book will be available for pre-order at Adam's site. Again, that is the pinebarrensinstitute.com. Links in the description of this podcast, as always. So be sure to check that out. It will be available again in October of 2020. So, there you have it. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Thank you to everybody who continues to support the show. Both Patreon and non-Patreon, we appreciate all the support that we get from everybody. It just means a lot to us. We were just talking about that a couple nights ago about we got a cool thing going here, and it's nice. We really enjoy it. It's humbling, and it's exciting to be able to be doing this podcast and have such great reception from people. It means a lot to us. So from our crypto fam to your crypto fam, thank y'all so very much. And without further ado, Christopher Q. That creepy music. Hello and welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Rob Morphy.
This week we are joined by a very special guest. Robert, please introduce our guest.
We are going to be talking with, and I am super, super fucking stoked about this, with the founder of the Pine Barrens Institute, a phenomenal researcher and an author by the name of Adam Benedict. Adam, thank you for talking with us today.
We finally did it, Adam.
We did. We finally got a chance to actually communicate through voice and not through text.
Yeah, not through our text. Speaking of text, Rob's text is popping up over there.
I forget to turn off my shit sometimes.
But that's okay, because this is how we do. This is how we record. So Adam, man, thank you so very much for joining us. We are super excited to talk to you. It's been so long. I feel like we've known each other for years now.
Yeah,
we'll get into that a little bit later. Totally. Yeah, actually, ever since we started, you were like a listener like early on. You got a hold of us and everything. It was super cool, and yeah, it's great to finally talk with you. And obviously, too, for those of you that don't know, Adam is the author of Monsters in Print, a collection of curious creatures known mostly from newspapers that is available on Amazon.com. We've talked about it a bunch in the show. If anyone has not gotten this book, definitely get it. And again, it's on Amazon. It's an awesome collection.
It's awesome.
Adam's, research and everything. It's such a great resource. It's so good, in fact, that I bought my first copy. Rob quickly took it from me, used it so that we could do the Cahokia Dragon and a bunch of other stories. And then I had to get a hold of Adam. I'm like, hey, man, is it cool if I get like a signed copy? Because Rob took my book from me. I was like a little kid. Like, hey, man, can I get an autographed one? And then Adam was so gracious enough to send me one. And then I threw it in Rob's face and was like, ha, I got the collector's edition. Fuck off. So
yeah, no, it was officially a dick move, but I cherish my unsigned edition nevertheless, because it literally is from cover to cover a chronicle of some of the weirdest, most wonderful things. And that's one of the things I definitely want to touch on in a minute, because you definitely, like us, seem to have a taste for the more esoteric and unique cryptids. You don't fall into that that pit of like the Bigfoot Nessie pit, which by the way is a great hole to be stuck in if you got to be stuck in a hole, but it's perhaps less entertaining, fascinating, and invigorating as some of the other weird shit. But before we get into that, can you maybe tell us what some of your key influences were that made you get interested? And I would say primarily cryptozoology and folklore seems to be your jam, but correct me if I'm wrong and tell me if the purview goes beyond that.
No, it's pretty much cryptozoology and folklore are the main focus. You know, occasionally it goes down the rabbit hole and other things I'm interested in, but like the big two interests are cryptids and folklore. And what opened the door for that are two extremely well-known people, Leonard Nimoy and Robert Stack.
Oh, snap. Yeah, no, you're preaching to the choir here. For me, too, I would say it was The In Search Of, which, of course, is what you're referring to with Leonard Nimoy. I was lucky enough to be born in the 70s, so I sort of came of age with a mom that was already interested in it, and it was, I would say, the golden age of paranormal studies, especially cryptozoology and ufology. And it was everywhere. Like I remember every supermarket had tons of paperbacks about flying saucers and abductions and hairy wild men. But it was specifically for me, and that's why years later in 2000, I went down to make a documentary on it. It was the episode on the Honey Island swamp monster that totally sucked me in, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just the coolest thing ever. Is there anything that you remember from that show that really appealed to you at an early age?
I think, well, each episode it captured my attention in different ways. The thing about it was, that was the first show of this kind I remember where everything was presented with, you know, a seriousness behind it. They didn't present it in a light where we're going to make fun of this. We're going to make fun of the people who enjoy this stuff, who research this stuff. They brought it up. Each episode, we're going to talk to legitimate scientists. We're going to talk to legitimate researchers. We're going to give you all the theories, and, you know, we're not going to make you feel like you're a fool for enjoying this. And to see these people on screen, and, you know, of course, Leonard Nimoy, you have Mr. Spock up there, you know, talking about this stuff to you. You're like, holy shit, this is real stuff. And there's a whole field out there that I didn't even know about. And that's the first time I ever saw it. And then, you know, Robert Stack comes in with Unsolved Mysteries, and he's doing the exact same thing. He's with that tone of voice. He's like, everything you're about to hear is true. And we need people to still figure it out. Could you be one of those people who solve this for us? You're like, I could be, Mr. Stack. Thank you for putting this on.
Thank you for suggesting that it might be me.
Yeah,
I agree. Both of those guys brought such gravitas to what they were doing. And I couldn't agree with you more. They treated the subject with academic rigor and almost reverentially, not like necessarily as true believers. They can be objective, but you're right, they weren't there to disparage the witnesses. They weren't there to belittle anything. They were there to present the facts and allow you to do what you wanted with it. And that is sorely lacking in a lot of things. And I'm not hating on anyone that has a reality show. In fact, when we shot our documentary in Honey Island, I wanted it to be In Search Of-esque, where we weren't part of it. But when MTV got on board, we had to shoot a new sizzler reel, or me and my partner at the time, Mike D, and Mark, of course, was helping us build the website. So the three of us were doing it back then. That's American Monsters for the record. They shot all sorts of faux stuff with us in the woods running around. I'm like, that's the part I'm least interested in. And I don't hold it against a single reality show star, but I'm like, the night vision running around screaming at every spooky knock or creak is like, I want to know the stories. I want to hear from the eyewitnesses. And that seems to be sorely lacking in a lot of the cryptozoological in particular, but also ufological and many of the, and certainly ghost stories or, you know, paranormal things. I get it. There's a place for it, and it's a vicarious fun for a lot of people. But for me, it's like, it is, you know, just the facts, ma'am, like old school Dragnet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, also, too, you know, I also made my debut as the Honey Island swamp monster.
That's true. You were in the Bigfoot suit.
Yeah. Well, it was
nuts deep in a swamp, surrounded by every piece of malaria-ridden mosquito in upstate New York.
For the record, Rob, it was a Lon Chaney Wolfman suit, an ill-fitting Wolfman suit, if you remember. And I had to get partially naked to get in and out of the thing because it
that I
wouldn't
remember.
Fit. Yeah, and also too, I was the gun wrangler. If you remember, I wrangled the guns.
Oh my God! Why?
Yeah, your
How do
old
we all
friend-
not die?
Your old friend Mark came through for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
with a 22 Ruger and a and a single shot 16 gauge. I was like, here you go, boys. Don't shoot each other. Let's make
So,
some magic.
I'm the first to admit, and we are so lucky we fucking survived, that I would gladly have jumped on that bandwagon back then because, I mean, you know, it's what you're asked to do and you're flattered, I suppose. But it's really not my preferred form of documentary. And what I really like about the Pine Barrens Institute website and your other writing is that it's very clear and concise. You blend all of these great stories from centuries ago sometimes, like I think the earliest you go is maybe the early 1800s, but maybe you dig even deeper. I'm not sure how deep the archives go, but all the way up to modern day and modern sightings, and that great spread and the seriousness and again the reverence with which you treat it, I find extremely admirable. What's your stance on that?
Well, first of all, thank you. That's I love when people actually like kind of recognize that you know there's a lot that goes into bringing these stories to the mainstream, because one, they're obscure. They're very obscure stories. They don't get a lot of love from people because they're usually just like one and done stories, and no one ever talked about them after like the first sighting. But when it comes to all these stories, to me, the cryptids, or you know the spirits or the aliens, whatever you want to call it, in that article at the time, plays second fiddle to the overall history surrounding the creature. You know, it's I like to think of it as a history lesson first and a campfire story second.
That's fascinating.
Because you read it and it's like, okay, I'm getting some information about a monster. Oh, it's something cool to tell people, you know, when you go to a bar and you're doing like random chats, or you're around, you know, you're having a bonfire with your kids or something, you're going to tell a spooky story. But then while you're reading it, you're also getting these facts and these random history lessons that you weren't expecting. And history has always fascinated me since I was a little kid. And to be able to combine the two, I feel that people are getting enjoyment, but also learning from it. And that's one of the reasons I do it. It's like, ooh, what can I learn myself for this new one? And then share with people, you know, when I put this article out. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And it's clear from your writing that you are fascinated, that you are passionate about it. And what I love about what you do, it's something that, you know, I try to incorporate into my work when I can, and I so admire it when I see it, is that you're giving context. I have tons of paperbacks. I'm sure you do. I have paranormal books, you know, since a time immemorial. And so many of them are like one chapter events that maybe give you if you're lucky, the date and the city it happened, or outside of a city or wherever. But to give context is something that is sorely lacking in a lot of it. And like you say, even a historical perspective, so you can really appreciate what's happening, you know, with the zeitgeist of that moment. It's rarely done, and I really appreciate it when it is. And I love the fact that that is something that you focus on.
Yeah, it's, you know, a lot of these stories, they can be, you know, maybe a paragraph or two at most. It's, oh, I heard it from this person who heard it from this person that this town has a legend. And then it's done. No one ever talks about it after that. But it's like, okay, why did the legend start in this town? And then you start researching the town. Oh, this isn't the first time a legend such as this occurred in this town. What else did they have going on? And then you find out, oh, they had a haunted house, or they had, you know, some unexplained ghost light. And then you start getting into it deeper and deeper, and you're like, oh, okay, at one point this town was, you know, almost a ghost town. People were leaving. And then once these stories started showing up, now people started flocking back to the area again. And it's like, okay, you're going to go out on a limb, and it's like, maybe these stories were created as a way to bring in tourism. And then over time, people forgot that they were created entirely to help keep the town alive. And they kind of took on their own life. And they just became part of, you know, the surrounding legend. Oh, there's a monster here, and no one questions it. It's like, that's the fun. It's the mystery of unraveling that. Like, why did it happen there specifically?
And that's great, because what that shows to me is that you have healthy skepticism, unlike, say, traditional skeptics who are in fact debunkers and not skeptics, and are just as bad as true believers in that all they want to do, they believe carte blanche, none of it could happen, so fuck off to everything, and they just shit on everything without objectively looking at the evidence. You take the time to assess what's going on, and then you can objectively say, like, maybe this is a tourist trap. Maybe this is something that was spawned by this and helped generated some revenue. And certainly that's happened from time to time. Though, conversely, I would say every town that has learned to exploit an event does not necessarily, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, does not necessarily mean the event wasn't real. Because you can't blame a small town like, near the skateboard swamp for embracing their lizard man, or Roswell for embracing the UFO fracas that went down. All these towns that learn to exploit at Loveland and their frogs, I think sometimes that's just entrepreneurship in the wake of a genuinely weird moment, where conversely, sometimes, people are just making shit up, like you say, to make a buck. But it's fun to kind of dig in and sort of see the context and the history of these things.
Oh, for sure. And every like, what's the word I'm looking for? Every different outlet, of weird stuff, they all do the same thing. If their town has a major mystery or major event, look at a lot of places with really memorable murders, like the Axe House location. They turned theirs into like a tour and a bed and breakfast. It's the human spirit to we're going to capitalize on this thing that everyone knows, regardless of what it is. So and that's what happened there. That's true. Everyone knows it's true. So it like cryptids too. It's like people more than likely did see something here at the time. It's just, they're embracing it. Like you said, like where the Beast of Busco is located, they have a Turtles Day festival.
That's
they're
awesome.
celebrating
That's
Oscar, the giant turtle. So it's cool. And that one was never proven, as a hoax or anything. That one is extremely believable in my opinion. And it's awesome that they're embracing it.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite ones is like the Hodag. Like that was, I remember early on I was talking with Adam. I think him and I were talking about the Hodag, and I'm like, oh man, this is so great. And I mean, obviously we all know the photo, we all know what's up, but the town embraces it so much. They have this gigantic Hodag statue outside of like their visitor center, and it is amazing looking. Like I want to go there just to go get a picture with that statue and check it out. It's awesome.
Like the high school mascot is named Hodag.
How cool.
They love the Hodag. It's a big thing here. Everyone knows the Hodag and everyone loves the Hodag. And because it was, a complete fabrication, we love it even more. And then it's like you get in the history of Eugene Shepard and you're like, that guy is fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It really is. Like, granted, it's a hoax, but whatever. Who cares? Have fun with it. I mean, it's not nearly as traumatizing as like Flatwoods. It's just kind of like some good old fun. And hey, here's a bunch of dudes with some guns, and here's our, our wooden Hodag that we shot. Phenomenal. Yeah. And you know what? No one was hurt. Everyone's happy. No dogs died.
Is another. I hope not. Well, I don't think the wooden Hodag
hope everyone's all right.
Killed any fucking buddy, but another one of your expertises, Adam, is lumberjack and American Midwest folklore. So, how did you get interested in that? And I know that's on your website too. It's really fascinating stories. Like that's a spinoff. We know a lot of things like jackalope and things like that are real. And yes, Addie, I remember the jackalope will come someday. That's a side note, just for Addie Lloyd. Fingers
crossed.
Yeah. But tell me how your interest got sparked in lumberjack and Midwestern folklore.
The lumberjack folklore kind of came about where, there's a lot of camping up in Wisconsin's North Woods and stuff. And the deeper you go, the more the surrounding towns of these campsites and, state forests and stuff try to capitalize on the history of the area as to why it became, a protected forest and everything like that. And a lot of them do so because within these woods are the remnants of old logging camps that, housed hundreds of men during logging season. And they're preserved as walk-through museums. And within a lot of these camps, they have, signs or, posters or whatever, talking about some of the stories that these lumberjacks would tell. A lot of them were specific to each camp. And then, when some guy would go to a new camp, he'd go to a different state, Minnesota or Michigan or whatever, he'd take that story with him. So a lot of them were like pride themselves on, this is where this story originated. This is our fearsome critter. And they talk about it. And, seeing these grown up, it's like, well, that's interesting. I've never heard about that before. And then you come to find out that, like 100 years ago, a book was written called Fearsome Critters of the Lumberwoods, where a guy collected all of these stories, and you're like, this is golden stuff. More people need to know about this. And of course, it's, you know, a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, that's old. That doesn't really matter. It's not as flashy as, you know, some of the newer monsters. You know, like a whirling fish would not hold a candle to Mothman, you know, to people today. But it's
Right.
like, people need to know about this stuff. It's fun.
Tell us a few of your favorites, because obviously we all know the hodag, the jackalope, the whirling fish. I remember as soon as you mention it. But are there any other like obscure ones that maybe tickled your fancy at some point?
There is, there was a fearsome critter known as the Boat Hound, and what this originated as is, you know, if a group of lumberjacks were camped out near a large body of water, and they would have to go across the water to the other side. That's where the cutting grounds were. Sometimes in the middle of the night, they'd come out, they'd wake back up, and they go to their boat, and their boat would be gone. And, you know, you look at it now, and it's like, okay, you know, probably wasn't tied up well. A strong wind blew it out there, kind of capsized, whatever. But the story arose that this creature called the Boat Hound, which looks exactly like an overturned boat, but it has the legs and, you know, like the face and tail of a dog. It would come out of the lake at night and it would eat the boat.
Yes, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, it would just eat it. And these guys would come out there and they'd be like, you know, waking up in the morning. I picture them with their axes on their shoulders and they're talking to each other like, we're going to cut down a lot of trees today. And they turn and they're like, ah, shit. Boat Hound got us.
Son of a
Can't do
bitch
anything.
ate the boat.
That goddamn Boat Hound came back.
And then there's another one called the Fish Fox. And this is only like the most experienced woodsman could handle the fish fox. And what it is, it's the body of a fox, but it has the tail of a fish. It can live on both land and water. And if you could train it, then you could train it to go into the body of water, whatever it is, you know, a great lake, a small pond, whatever. And they don't explain how it can do that, but it can imitate the sound of a worm on a hook. And it would call in a bunch of
classic
fish.
Sound.
Yeah,
okay.
It would call in a bunch of fish, kind of like the Pied Piper calling in children, and it would lead the fish up to the shoreline where the fishermen at the time could easily scoop them up and just take them right to camp and, you know, feed the entire camp.
Oh, that would come in handy. That would definitely come in handy.
The most versatile fox fish I ever done heard of right there.
And it's so funny because they describe
awesome.
it. It's like it made this sound that everyone knows, the worm on a hook. It's like, when you hear that, you look around, you're like, does everyone know this? Am I stupid if I ask what that sounds like?
So do you think it was almost like a competition, like dueling lumberjacks? You go to a new camp, you've got to outdo the regional guys with your own regional pride, your own ferocious, weird, vermicious knid that you're just going to throw out there. How do you think these things built up? Just out of sheer boredom or a love of storytelling?
From what I've read, it's a little bit of everything. You know, historians of, you know, the logging industry say that, you know, a lot of the times, if they were confined to their large bunkhouse because of a bad storm or something, they have to pass the time somehow. So they're creating stories. They would try to outdo each other. It's like, oh, you've heard of, you know, the whirling Wimpus. Well, I've heard of the aggro pelter and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
the
then,
rock chucking little Bigfoot thing, right?
Yep. And then,
you know,
a lot of times they would also do it as kind of a, what's the word? I just drew a blank. Initiation for like the greenhorns that would show up. And, you know, the guys who were like, I need to make some money for my family, so I decided to take this gig, and they show up at the camp and they're like, well, where do I go? You know, they'd kind of joke with them a bit, like, follow that guy, but don't go down that path because, you know, the tree squeak is there and it'll lead you deeper into the woods and then you'll die. It's
the opposite of a snipe hunt. Like, don't do that.
Exactly.
Right.
And at the time, it's like you didn't have the internet or anything to research this, so you had to take the advice of the person who's been there, you know, for years and years on end. So,
and
there's a whole bunch of
as
different
always,
ways.
are a deep, dark, foreboding place. They are to me now in the 21st century. I mean, we're in 2020, which is absolutely fucking bullshit. We don't have flying cars. Another discussion for another day. But we are balls deep in what I always thought was the Jetsons-ass future. And I still get freaked out at the thought of like the deep, forbidding, unexplored, mostly unexplored woods. I can't even imagine being it so much more vast, the knowledge base being so much less, and the resources for getting said information, like you say, no internet, no anything, being so scarce. I can only imagine how terrifying it must have been for a greenhorn. And they start hearing about this batshit crazy, oftentimes deadly stuff. It must have blown their effing minds.
It's kind of fun though. It's kind of like a fun little, like, we got the new guy. We're gonna bring him out here and we're gonna kind of razz him a little bit. Like, I mean, I'm sure as everyone knows, like, working with a bunch of dudes or whatever, that kind of shit's just going to happen. It just depends on how far you push it. Like where I work, we tell people, oh, if you go on third shift, be careful of Barney the ghost. And the new people legit get like, oh, there's a ghost here. And we're like, yeah, there's a ghost here. And
but in all fairness, there's a real legend of a ghost. Well, I mean, that's not completely bunk.
No, it's not completely bunk, but it's one of the things that everyone does. It's like they're greenhorns. Well, I guess they're brown horns because we work at a ship plant. But
wow.
But yeah, I went there. Yeah, little dad humor for you. But yeah, something like that's kind of, especially considering the context of the time, like when all this happened. There's something kind of cool and folklorish about it. It's kind of like a camaraderie, but also like, hey, let's see if we can get this guy going a little bit. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, of course. And then if you're the greenhorn, and then someone else new starts later, now you're part of the larger group, and you're like, hey, let me have my turn, and let me, make up a story for this person. It bonds people together.
Yeah, totally.
No,
and
definitely, legends can create
camaraderie.
Exactly what I was going to say. Legends can definitely create a sense of camaraderie, and they're fun because what they basically are, in my mind, American mascots. Like each state's got one. I think a very scant few, an extremely scant few, might be based on a real cryptid encounter in the sense that maybe it was an anomalous animal and it just got blown out of proportion. Most are obviously complete fabrications, but they really are state by state. Vermont's coonigator, the raccoon-bodied creature with the head of a gator that rummages through your garbage like a fucking raccoon. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they're basically great American mascots as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, for sure. That would be absolutely fantastic. You know how we got state birds and state flowers. Everyone should have, a state fearsome critter to go along with it too.
Oh, absolutely.
See a bunch of coins with fearsome critters on the back of it would be amazing.
Oh, Franklin Mint, I would be in there like swimwear. I would get all that shit. Collect your hodag. Collect your agri-pelter. Collect your champ. You can throw some legitties in there too. Why not?
Yeah, totally.
Man, those would, excuse the pun, those would make a mint.
Yes, absolutely. Too bad
real quick.
None of us are metallurgists.
Let's copyright this idea right here, boys, because we can make pins. So hold on a second. This is Adam Benedict, Rob Morphy, Mark Stores, copyright Pine Barrens Crypto Monsters in Print Incorporated. There you go. We can make them fucking coins one day.
You struggled with the corporation a little bit, but I like the idea.
This is a brainstorming session. We're going to work all that out. Don't worry about it. I got this.
All right, we'll do that shit off air.
It's okay.
It'll work out.
Exactly. It'll be fine.
Damn it. I'm losing a lung here. That's awesome. Let's spin this into the next aspect, which is something that I was talking about in the very beginning, just 20 minutes ago or so, which is you are a man after my own heart in that you love the otter accounts, the strange things. So what I'm going to ask you is why you chose that over the more mainstream stories in terms of making it your focus. And then after that, maybe pick your brain a little. I know I'm putting your spot and having you give us some of your favorites.
So the reason I flock towards the more obscure ones is that kind of harkens back to when I first started getting into this, after seeing the shows, of course, In Search of and Unsolved Mysteries and all that, that opened the door and it's like, okay, I need to read about this stuff now. There's so much more out there, because the people in these shows would be talking about books, or they'd be talking about, certain individuals who are experts in the field, quote unquote experts, because personally, in my opinion, there could be no experts in this field because nothing can ever truly be verified. So I started
It's true.
going.
Cryptozoologist is a conferred title. Like I always called myself a crypto historian. You refer to yourself as a crypto chronicler, which is wonderful alliteration, and I love it. But you're right. Until I read in somebody else's book that I was a cryptozoologist, I wasn't necessarily officially one, because it is sort of like, it's something that's just said about you if you're investigating these, and you can be a field investigator or a researcher, like we tend to be. But it's all valid. But you're right. It is. You're an expert in so much as, hopefully, how much veracity you put into your work. And you, I must say, Adam, put a lot of integrity into your work, and that's why you're one of my favorite historians when it comes to this stuff. And so I didn't mean to digress too far, but you're absolutely right. You have to take it with a grain of salt. Anyone that's considered an expert in a field that is essentially probing the unknown, that is Fortean, by its nature.
Oh, for sure. And, don't let that, by saying that, you kind of bring down the respect for people who, there are some of the best researchers, in this, these strange fields. Some of these people are top notch. It's just like, we haven't reached that point yet where you can be called expert yet, because, mainstream science won't recognize it as legit. But
you're absolutely right. But there's no way Jacques Vallée or Ivan T. Sanderson or Bernard Heuvelmans, or even in modern days, Lauren Coleman and their ilk, there's no way you cannot say that they are experts and not mean it, because they have put the legwork in, the entirety, Grover Krantz. So, go on and on. And there's plenty I'm missing that are just have been and were brilliant contributors to whatever field they're in that just doesn't happen to be accepted by mainstream academia. So I agree with you. Yes. But we're back to weird shit that you gravitated towards.
So the reason that I got into all this obscure stuff is because when I was younger and I started picking up all these books and stuff, in the beginning, it was like, oh man, this was a fantastic Bigfoot story, or this was a absolutely amazing Loch Ness Monster story. And it's like, okay, now I need to get another book. Then I crack that one open. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little weird. This was the exact same story I read in the last one. It's like, oh, maybe I'll get in another book. There might be another story in there, but they have two stories, and the second one is the exact same as the first two book. And I was finding that a lot. It's like, these are all copy and paste exactly word for word, but they're all in different titles, as if this was the first book to discover this. And it was becoming extremely annoying when I was younger, because it's like, okay, I'm hearing these people talk that there's all this stuff out there, but I'm not finding any of it. I'm only finding the same stuff. So I started like really digging around, to try and find the obscure stuff that everyone's talking about. And as I got older and I was able to start, going places on my own, because when I started reading all this stuff, I was, a young kid. So when I started being able to go places my own, it's like, you know what, I'm going to go to the library and ask if I can, hey, can I see your old newspapers? Or, the Historical Society will welcome people in. It's like, yes, come learn about this area's history. What do you need? We'll help you find it.
Absolutely. I love those guys.
And I started coming across like these articles and these references in newspapers where it's like, well, I've never heard about this one before. And of course I've never heard about this one before, because this one says this monster killed 15 people, and it's kind of like, why aren't people talking about this stuff? So I started, just kind of collecting it for myself. And it's like, all right, it took me long enough to find this story, so I might as well hold on to it. And then as, years passed and stuff, and I was getting all this stuff, I started remembering, when I was younger and I first started out learning about this stuff, it was extremely difficult. And I don't want it to be difficult for anyone who's starting to do this now. And, I have to put this out there for people to know, because, now it's so hard to keep people's attention on anything, where if there's a little kid out there, it's like, I want to learn about monsters, and they can't find any place to do that, they're just going to be like, well, that dream's dead, and they're going to go to something else. It's like, no, right. I have all of this stuff. Look at all of this stuff that I found. It's awesome. You're going to love it, because Kid Me absolutely loved it, and I know Kid You will do the same thing.
That's a great attitude to have.
Yeah,
You're absolutely
awesome,
right.
Totally.
Trying to do right by the next generation is just a noble endeavor, and I admire that. But I think some of the greatest efforts that can be made in any field of artistry or research is doing exactly what you said, trying to do right by the kid in you that didn't have that advantage. So I think maybe some of the greatest contributions that you can make to overall humanity, not to make it too lofty, I know we're talking about monsters and weird shit here, but one of the greatest contributions you can make is trying to fill a void that was there when you were young so that the next generation won't even need to know that there was ever a missing spot there. So I find that intensely admirable. And moreover... No, go continue, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, I love, when you come across that you've been searching for days or weeks or even months, and you're like, I'm just about to give up, and you finally find that book, or you finally find that rare magazine, and you're like, finally, I knew someone took the time to write on this, and it's like, this completes the piece that I was looking for. Thank you, unsung hero who just
right.
solidified
the research
what I was
gods,
doing.
when they come through, when you read, and I'm sure you come across this a lot, and I know we're getting into the weeds here, and I hope the listeners understand, but like when you keep reading the same paragraph over and over, and you're like, I know somewhere there's a newspaper article, somewhere there's an account, maybe it's in a foreign language website, and you dig and dig and dig, and then finally you get the 7-paragraph chronicle of the 1-paragraph story that you have read umpteen times on a billion different websites and a handful of books. It is revelatory. I love that feeling.
I can say I have something to go along exactly with that. You're probably aware of the Pensacola sea serpent attack.
Yes.
So for years, I always was hearing people talk about this. They're like, this is a major story within the crypto community and stuff like that. And
I remember reading about it in Dinsdale's Leviathans, different collections of Fate magazines. Like, you're right, it's absolutely something that we are going to do on a podcast, because it's one of the most terrifying and harrowing stories, but it is so difficult to get additional information. I just wanted to add that, but please continue on your pursuits.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like I was always hearing it secondhand and from other things, and it was always people giving their opinion on it. And it's like, I need to see the original story. Somebody please just tell me the original story. And you'd see in comment sections or something, people would be asking for that, and they're like, well, I don't know what it said in the original story, but from what I heard from a researcher who heard it from a researcher, I'm just like, okay, I guess this is just going to live in obscurity. And just 2 weeks ago, I came across on eBay someone selling the exact issue of Fate magazine.
Fate magazine, yes.
That had this story in it. And it's like, I finally get to read the exact story that was printed that everyone is talking about. And it's just like, half the information that was in the story, people don't bring up. And it's like, you're missing so many pages.
Oh, that's brilliant. You know what? I might, after this, pick your brain on that a little bit, but it really is one of the great and frankly most terrifying and ultimately tragic cryptozoological stories on the books. And I don't want to reveal too much to listeners in case you're doing something and we're going to do something, but most of them are probably vaguely familiar with it, but it really is just one of those things that chills you to the bone to read about.
The visuals that it brings up in your imagination, you're like, this would be amazingly adapted by Guillermo del Toro, or even like, an 80s throwback awesome. By like Spielberg, in definitely. The vein of like E.T. or something like that. Just that Amblin style. You're like, I need to see this on film.
Agreed. It's cinematic as the Dickens, and it's awesome, man. So I totally agree. I love that. And here's where we're going to segue in non so subtly into Monsters in Print, your book. It is page after page of delight. I am holding the copy I stole from Mark. I literally have 153 fucking bookmarks in here. Little Post-it notes that I cut into strips because that's how I do my shit. And they're just ladled all over. And it's page after page of unique yet and the way you say it. These stories are genuine in the sense that they were printed. It is up to you, dear reader, to interpret its veracity. I know I'm paraphrasing, but I love that about it. And each chapter, literally, I'm not trying to oversell it just because you're here. It's because I thoroughly enjoy it. Is a brand new slice of not only a unique phenomenon, but a dip into a language from another era that is absolutely fascinating to read.
Yeah, it's a to me, just even every once in a while I go back and I think I wrote about that. I got to go through it and read it. And it's just like, man, this is such a time capsule of just people, just daily life, the things they talk about. This article, it's about a monster. Oh, but they're going to tell you what life was like on the farm at the time too. And they're going to tell you, who was running for governor of this state at the time. And it's like, you're getting, again, that history lesson that you weren't expecting. And you walk away learning something new. You got a new monster. And now who won the local election in 1843.
And well, I know that, to a certain degree, we always have to be skeptical about the type of journalism from that era. There was definitely a spectacularism, sensationalism. And so I understand that we might be treading on the line with fiction, sometimes more often than not, maybe. But just the thought that there could be a kernel of truth and that it's being reported, like you say, literally, it's Monsters in Print is the title of the book, reported in print. It doesn't necessarily lend veracity, but it makes me even more fascinated because this was put in a paper of record, along with, as you say, who won town council, who became the sheriff locally, if the crops were not doing so hot that year. And it becomes even more fascinating that these truly anomalous entities and events are occurring within this very prosaic framework.
Yeah, it's you read through it, and if you've been reading through these weird reports for a long time, you start developing this kind of sixth sense, like right away, whether or not the article is complete bullshit or if there is that kernel of truth to it, just by how they structure, the article itself. And it's fun to you catch that as it goes on through the decades. You're like, this one more than likely fake. This one, I'm not sure. I'm going to put that in the maybe pile. This one, this was just for fun. You could tell they were filling up space in the paper that day. This one, it's like, I think I can link that back to another story I've heard in a book, so many years ago. And you're like, oh, there's that missing piece I've been looking for. It's
right
just,
on.
There's so many different offerings to these stories, and it's, by themselves, you don't really think much of it. You're like, oh, that's a cool one. But when you see them all together, you're like, okay, people have always been weird, and it's not just our current time.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think that's one of the beautiful things about generational knowledge is when you get old enough and you read something, and not even necessarily about monsters, about love, about life, and you think, oh my God, I can completely identify with this. And this individual wrote this in like 1846. And it's still the same reality of the human condition, and the fact that we can, as a species that can read, and for all our fuck ups and violence and mayhem, and I'm not definitely going to get into the big picture of the human condition. I love that one aspect of us, that we can pass on these things and know there's a universality despite huge linear disparities, despite the fact that this happened however many years ago, and that's part of what's captured in this. And this is where I would like to start picking your brain. Like, can you tell us some of the stories that really feature, just whether in the book or on the website, whatever might have really just, I'll say one of the things. I love so many of these stories. The fucking Mexican centaur is just short, sweet, and emotionally wrenching.
Can we discuss that real quick there, Rob and Adam?
Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
All right. Let's just real briefly.
May I read a passage from your book, Adam?
Oh, of course.
Oh, it's story time with Uncle Rob.
Indeed. This is one of the short, sweet. In fact, I'm just going to read the story. It's short and sweet. You don't mind if I do that? I'm not going too far, am I?
No.
Okay. A Mexican centaur, and I still don't know if I'm saying that word right. The Daily Independent, June 30, 1891, Nevada. Subtitle: The Strange Creature Killed in the Woods of Arkansas. According to the Arkansas Journal, Dr. Collins of Little River County, that state, killed a most remarkable quadruped near his place in the spring of 1877. So even this story predates the actual publication of this article. From the time of the war up until the year named, several persons claim to have frequently seen an animal in the form of a large red deer with the head and neck of a man. So that reminds, when we did a centaur pod some months ago, I think there was an Irish account of a straight up horse with a dude head, which is one of the most disturbing fucking images you can have. Not much better because it's a red deer, I will say for the record. On the day that the animal was killed, just bringing it home, Dr. Collins' wife and a Negro girl, context of the times, were going along an unused path when they saw the queer creature peering at them from the underbrush. They made haste and informed the doctor what had occurred. He took his gun and started in search of the beast, which he soon overtook and shot. Closer inspection showed that the head, instead of being that of a man, more nearly resembled that of a baboon. Its eyes were large and very prominently set in the sides of its head, which kind of makes it like a deer-baboon hybrid, I would think, because they have the front-facing, omnivore eyes, but be that as may, I find that really interesting. A long fringe of brown beard covered the chin and neck. Dr. Collins says, and this is the fucking part that gets me, that when he came up to the creature and leveled his gun at it, it seemed to be aware of its great danger. The large eyes melting into tears as it saw the utter hopelessness of the case. At this point,
Jesus
Doc,
Christ.
fucking think about your Hippocratic oath and stop being fucking... Oh,
stop leveling your gun at innocent creatures. I mean, for me to say that's got to mean something. So
when he shot it, it uttered a heart-rending scream and leaped high in the air, expiring with awful groans which closely resembled those of a man in distress. It is generally believed that the creature was a species of Mexican centaur, a semi-legendary creature of the post-conquest era. I do not know what that last sentence means, but I find that fascinating because it's telling you something, but not in any way I understand.
Yeah, it just writes it matter of fact, like everyone knows what a Mexican centaur is. It's like we don't
after the conquest. Come on. Some people think it looks like a man. It's clearly a baboon.
Kind of like the sound of the worm on the hook. I was like, man, I hope that I'm not the only one in this conversation right now that doesn't know about a Mexican centaur because I'm going to feel like a real asshole. But
I was just going to say that.
Just me.
It's like when you're taking a test in school and you get to like question 32 and you're like, oh shit. And you kind of look around the room. You're like, no one else looks like they're struggling here. So I guess I'm just going to have to guess.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to say maybe for that story, maybe we can go out on a limb there and just say that was like some fanfic, quite possibly. That
or
somebody,
to me, it rings. There are some that are obviously spectacular stories. That is so short, sweet, and matter of fact. I'm actually inclined to think that it was probably more likely than not a deformed deer. I mean, I'm willing to go on that limb that it had some weird distended features and maybe Doc Holliday, whoever the fuck he was, just wasn't familiar with fucking baboon physiology. But then again, it might be something truly anomalous. Now, again, like Adam was saying, what makes this so fascinating and ultimately so frustrating is that it piques your interest so much, and yet, where's the fucking follow-up? Is that something that frustrates you too, Adam?
Oh, for sure. There was a lot of times where, I found these articles and, I was transcribing them and stuff and they just abruptly end. And you're like, well, that's weird. It's like, okay, maybe it's on the next page. Maybe it's on the next. And it's nothing. It's like, that is it. It just ended. And you're left with this, well, man, now I have 20 more questions than when I began. So you start like looking through the Library of Congress's archives under these search terms they used in the article. Nothing else comes up. It's just that. And you walk away, you're like, well, okay, I guess this is a one and done creature. It's like, well, I'm going to forever be frustrated because everyone's been frustrated since 1877 with this case. So,
and you can't pick the brain of the reporter. You can't go back and find out, certainly if it did happen, ostensibly, if it was a real thing, you must have been curious yourself. You must have talked to, Dale down the street who, owned a farm and he might have seen something too. Did you pick their brains, but it just didn't get published? But you can't do that because everyone's fucking expired.
Yeah.
And so you're like, just
reading this story. It paints such a good little movie in your mind because it's like they wrote it so it's like that style between straight up fact newspaper reporting, but also it's like a children's book. It's like, hey, just imagine seeing this deer, and then they get there and they're confused now because it looked like a man, but plot twist, now it's a monkey man. And you're just like, wow, like how old was the person who wrote this article? Because they don't seem to understand anything, but I'm on board with it.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
like Bambi's mom if she was like a Mexican centaur that just got gunned down by
I
a fucking
picture the
doctor.
Disney eyes when it
Oh,
starts
that's
crying.
I was
The
thinking
big,
too, yeah.
like thumper eyes that are just welling up with those thick tears that go across the bottom before they plop down. And this dude still pulled the fucking trigger. Like, that was a dead giveaway. There was no suspense there. That was no, is he or isn't he? They weren't trying to like play that angle, which to me also seems less sensational, but that notwithstanding, you know he's going to do it. And when they talk about all the pathos in its face, you're like, the fuck are you doing? And Mark, I read that for you because I think you needed this life lesson.
Yeah, no, I think I did. So real quick, I have a short-term memory for obvious reasons here. So did they actually like identify the doctor?
Yeah, they did. He had a name. Let me open it back up.
So let's put it into this context. Let's say
Dr.
that
Collins
article
of Arkansas. That's all we know. And his wife.
Okay, so it could be any Dr. Collins in Arkansas. It's not like I was just going to say like with
it's
articles
Dr.
like
Collins
this.
of Little River County.
Okay, so then he is specified. So let's just say that on a Sunday that comes out and you're reading that, and then Monday you got to see Dr. Collins. Are you not going to bring this up? Like, oh, you shot a fucking Mexican centaur. Like, it's one of those things where like, all right, could this be embellished or possibly, like fiction or whatever? Yeah, but it has very real world consequences when on Monday morning or Tuesday afternoon or, Wednesday evening, you fucking see this dude and you're like, hey, I read about this asshole in the paper and he fucking killed the Mexican centaur. Yeah, either you're going to be celebrating it or you're going to be like, you're a fucking animal.
Well, this is 1891. And I don't know how much conservation was on the mind of Americans in general.
Yeah, but I mean, just general overall feel of like either, hooray, he killed the centaur, or boo, you're a bad man, Dr. Collins, boo on you.
I don't think this is like
there's
the
gotta
dentist
be something
that shot the lion. This is not Harambe situation. As much as I think he's a fucking jackass.
Bring us to Harambe?
No, but it's not. But we're living in a different time with a different appreciation for the natural world and wildlife. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not even just calling out Arkansas, America in general, especially in the, if your wife, if someone looked crosswise at your wife, you get to shoot it 6 times on principle. So I don't think that was a thing so much.
Oh, you mean the law, Robert? Is that what you mean, the law?
I'm talking about Arkansas 1890s law.
I'm talking about
kill a Mexican
New
centaur.
York. New York,
could go
2020.
You could go back to that scenario and, like they shoot it on a Sunday and they go see him on a Monday. Though, because of the time, the person who walked into that office was like, there was an awkward pause and silence for a minute. And he's just kind of like, so you did a good thing. I didn't even know we were overrun with Mexican centaurs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This whole goddamn time I thought we were Mexican centaur free, and lo and behold, they've been living in a goddamn backyard the entire time. And the guy's like, yeah, it cried and I killed it. And you're like,
oh my God.
Well, the conversation. Come to this thing's fucking rescue.
The conversation went, why you didn't see him? It's because their horse half was behind a bush. You just saw the man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hiding behind a goddamn bush.
On the other hand, you kill a fucking Idaho centaur, you're in the shit. Balls deep.
Oh yeah, you don't mess with Idaho centaurs.
Yeah,
dude. That shit is off the board. You do not pull a gun on an Idaho centaur. If you get into them fucking Michigan Mexican centaurs, holy fuck, watch out. You are fucking dizunzo. But yeah, that's But conversely,
not
even conversely, they should have stuffed it. If it was real, that shit would have been on a taxidermist table in a heartbeat. But I want to think that maybe he, shot it dead up and its beautiful weeping face, there was nothing left to preserve. It was ravaged by, scavengers.
You've probably noticed a lot of the stories in this book do end like that. They're always like, they're sending the body away to be stuffed and mounted in so-and-so's general store on the corner of Corner Street. And then it's like, it just ends there. Or as 90% of all cryptozoological cases go, the bad guys, as I like to refer, the Dick Dastardlies, the Smithsonian comes in, creeps in, takes it away.
Smithsonian.
And it's always like, yeah, of course, we're going to give it back after we study it. And then they twirl their mustache and you never see it again.
Yeah, and then they fucking lock it away with all the vampires and werewolves and shit. You never get to see it.
Indiana Jones Lost Archive warehouse, and just like, it's going to be on display. You're a hero. You really did something great for science.
The Smithsonian is a cover for the BPRD.
There you go.
Yes, that's fucking great. That's awesome.
Honestly,
Great
if somebody did a full-on chronicle for the amount of times the Smithsonian Institute is mentioned, especially in terms of dead cryptids and other anomalous things like artifacts from UFOs, and it got sent there and lost, you could, if some researcher that has just more patience than I should write a book on the lore of what the Smithsonian has allegedly taken in and never revealed for whatever mysterious agenda they have.
You know what would happen if you did that? The Smithsonian would ask to review it, and you would never see the copy.
Never see the manuscript again. It's gone.
And they keep writing this book, and they keep taking it.
Like, do we really want to take on the Smithsonian at this point? Do we have to? I mean, I think we have to. I mean, I know it's a lot to ask. We got a lot going on, pandemics and shit, but maybe this is the time.
Thing.
Maybe this is the time.
How many windmills are we going to fucking attack here?
We failed raiding Area 51. We need to step up and do this.
That's true.
I wonder if we can get the Area 51 people on board. Be like, listen, all you got to do is just continue your fucking Naruto run, but just put it toward the Smithsonian. Just go that way and just keep going and see if you can fucking make it.
The Smithsonian's doors are open for a certain amount of hours every day.
They're deep black
run right the fuck through there. Yeah.
It's not actually in the Washington place. They've got one of those, like that crazy show on Sci-Fi back in the day, well, not even that long ago, Warehouse 13 or whatever it was called. They've got this obscure thing in the middle of Utah, which is just this metal building that's huge, and it just seems it's for storage. Nobody cares. Nobody thinks about it, but it's just chock full of all the most wonderful, nefarious shit. The gun that really killed Kennedy, all sorts of fucking ill shit. And it's just, and even the guys in like Area 51 are like, man, I'd really like to get in there. And the Smithsonian's like, fuck off. You don't have the clearance. We are the men.
You need to talk to the guy who put away the Ark of the Covenant at the end of Indiana Jones. That's where the Smithsonian is hiding all of their stuff.
Absolutely.
That's where all the fucking,
I'm glad we figured it out.
The Bigfoot, all the
mystery
Bigfoot
is
bones
solved.
And shit. Yeah, there you go. I mean, we're experts now. We fucking nailed it.
Crack the Smith. Yeah, officially, we've just declared ourselves experts on the Smithsonian conspiracy.
Yeah, so there you go. We are experts. Yeah.
All of a sudden, in the background, you hear everybody's doorbell ring at the exact same time because they're outside now.
The Smithsonian's here. Hide, guys.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go random out left field. You get visited by men in black, Adam, like the classic olive skin, dressed like mid-50s, mid-60s madmen, and they want to talk to you about that article you wrote, but they're not necessarily saying which one. What's your gut reaction? I mean, I know you got a family, you got a lot of things you got to protect. What happens?
I'm gonna be straight up. Anything to do with aliens and the Men in Black and the classic appearance of it terrifies the hell out of me. It's just that lizard brain part where you're like, something's wrong. I would probably give them whatever they wanted. I'd just be like, all right, I'm done.
Don't cave. No, don't cave. Fight.
I respect it, man. He's got kids. He's got a wife. You can't fuck around.
He's Adam. He can do it. I got faith in him.
He's
Adam. He's from Wisconsin. You don't fuck with people from Wisconsin. He's got this.
It depends on what time of year it is.
People from Wisconsin,
that's true, yeah, it is.
Idaho Centaurs, fucking Chuck Norris. That's the list right there.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Mark?
I would probably...
Go ahead. Keep talking, Adam, and I'll pick Mark's brain in a second.
I like how you described the 1950s version where they're creepy and it's like, that it's like they're almost wearing a mask type of thing. Those ones I would do whatever, but like the modern interpretations where it's like, it's just a government official. It's like, no, you're not coming to my house. You're not whatever, I got my cell phone going. You're on video. You're live streaming to Instagram right now. Everyone can see you. But it's like if they just pop into the room on my left side and they're like, hey, give us your stuff right now. Be like, okay, here you go. Take it. I got extra copies in the storage.
Yeah. No, I didn't even like it. When I wrote about it, fuck, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, if they rolled up on me, I'd be like, oh, fuck, no. It's yours, man. I
guess it depends. Like if they knock on my door, I'm clearly going to be like, I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't even belong to the U.S. Fuck you. But if they all of a sudden appear in my house and be like, take my shit, leave me alone. Like, don't fucking touch me. So I guess it depends on what version I'm going to be getting, but yeah.
It's freaky shit. I mean, all of
the
that
David
stuff
Copperfield
is really weird.
Men in Black or the door-to-door salesman Men in Black. There's two distinct types.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
plastic skin and their like thin grasp of how to drink water or say simple sentences.
Yeah,
Those are the ones that are really eerie.
It's the David Copperfield ones that always kind of freak me out, where you're like, oh, there's just a weird man. You're like, oh, this is not going to be good. But when they come to your door, you're like, all right, this could be something completely. This could be fucking UFO nerds making an appearance, trying to, pick your brain or whatever. Or this could be, the IRS. Well, one of the two. So
now I'm sitting here in my basement recording this, and I'm like instinctually just kind of looking left to right. Like, are they down here?
Nice.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna check my Ring cameras.
There's part of me that's 100% sure that eventually I'm going to meet some weird ass motherfucker who is just going to say some cryptic shit, and I'll just be like, you know what, dude, this is not going down. This is not going to be difficult.
When you start realizing it is when you go through, like, one day you're like, I'm going to go look through old photos, and you start catching that guy who's in the background of every single photo.
Oh.
Now that's creepy.
God.
That's definitely, yeah. Like, he's been there all along, Robert. He's been there all along.
Angus Scrim in the Phantasm movies. Suddenly it looks at you.
The eyes in the picture move. Boy. Like, fuck.
All right.
God damn it.
I am going to rein this shit in. This was fun, a fun mind exercise. But when I asked you some of your favorite accounts, Adam, I jumped right into the Mexican Centaur, which is
that is one of my favorite ones.
So, is there any other accounts that strike you as just particularly fascinating? And I'm telling you, your book is chock full of them, which is phenomenal. It's a page turner. It really is.
One that I've always loved, and well, actually, there's two. This one is my favorite, I guess, quote unquote cryptid one, where the other one is just like a funny one. But this one is page 277, and it's called Has Legs of Dog and Body of Fish. And
oh man, hold on.
They're talking about a creature which they call the Nocturus, which they're stating is a new creature that is in the middle of evolving from an aquatic animal to a land animal.
Man alive.
And it's only coming out of these specific lakes in Wisconsin, and all, like, in the article, the scientists are like, yes, we've never seen evolution at work like this before. This is going to turn into a brand new animal. As of right now, though, it's a bulldog fish. Can you guys believe that? It's like, I guess I can. You said scientists.
You know what's awesome about that?
I'm reading it right now, actually.
I am too. It's great. It is great. Head and 4 legs like a dog, also fins and gills. Scientists have known of them. Verification of theory that all mammal life evolved from water species. Well, I'm glad it's verified, because it's fucking verified. And if you don't believe it, God damn it, it's verified. But that having been said, the fact that it looks like a bulldog is interesting to me, because, as I'm sure you know, Adam, in Australia, there's been more than one case of things that were classified as bunyip that seem to be semi-aquatic bulldogs. So there is precedence for it.
It was actually funny. This article, one of the reasons why it's my favorite is there was one year we were having a family vacation up in Wisconsin Dells, and we were out on Lake Delton, and we were just cruising around in the pontoon, and my kids were swimming in the water. And as they were getting back into the boat, there was another boat kind of not far from us, and they had a bunch of little dogs. I don't know if they were like terriers or something along those lines, but they were all swimming. There was like 6 dogs in the water, and this woman was pulling these dogs out of the water, like, all right, you get in the boat and you get in the boat. And I got my kids' attention. I said, look over there. You see that? Those are water puppies, and they only exist up here, and this woman is harvesting them. And they're like, no, they're not. That's not real. And I was like, yeah, this is a Wisconsin only thing. And then, like, a year later, I came across this article. I was like, holy shit, like, water puppies are real.
Yeah, see, Dad's right, kids. How about that? Yeah. Here, read Dad's book and get back to me. I
remember when I found this, I showed them. I was like, remember what I showed you in the Dells last year? I was like, and you thought I was making it up? No, verified.
You just blew your kids' minds completely. They're like, nothing we know is real ever.
Like, no offense, Mark, but best dad ever.
Oh yeah, totally. No,
so
totally.
you take your family on some of these expeditions, or just day trips or vacation trips to paranormal hotspots, right?
Oh, for sure. At one point, Wisconsin was considered the lake monster capital of America, because almost every single lake at one point was reported to have a monster within it. So there's a lot of history
phenomenal.
around the area. So, and a lot of them are just within driving distance of us, some between half an hour, some maybe 5 hours away. And it's kind of like, we got nothing going on this week. And it's like, you want to go to this spot? And everyone's like, yeah, let's get out of the house for a while. And we'll drive around. I was like, okay, if you look to the left, kind of like a tour guide, that lake was said to have eaten
awesome.
3 swimmers. And coming up on the right, that one was said to have attacked, like the mayor of the town. And it's just this fun, the kids are like, oh, what monster was in that one? And it's this fun, like, history lesson, but also you're keeping the interest with monsters, but they're learning something.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's
can you
awesome.
adopt me?
That's great.
Because I need a dad that will take me to all the lakes of Wisconsin and tell me who ate the fucking mayor. That is brilliant.
Rob
There's
found
15,000 plus lakes in Wisconsin. So,
oh my, is that the
there's a
most
lot
in the United States? Does that like outdo Minnesota?
Yes, it does. Minnesota's only got 11,000, but they get to put it on their
license. They've been lying the
plate,
whole time. Damn it, Minnesota! Why are you filling my head with lies?
That's
if
why
you Google
Minnesota.
this, there is a lot of Minnesota websites that will dispute this claim by going, oh, Wisconsin's lakes aren't as big as ours, though. So technically they can't claim that title.
That's ridiculous.
It's this rivalry that has never ended. But yeah,
if it's a lake, it's a fucking lake. Win. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to jump in without any knowledge because I've never researched any of this, but I've got to say, if it's a fucking lake, it's not about the size. Come on. It's the motion in the ocean. Let's all be clear.
for a fucking body of water, really?
It's the monster in the pondster, all right? That's what we're talking about.
The monster in the pondster. Wow.
That's a bumper sticker worthy.
Totally.
Oh my God, that's horrible. That's the deadest thing ever.
Adam is now going to be bringing Rob on trips with his family to go look at different cool things in Wisconsin.
Uncle Rob gets to sit way in the back, and he's looking at you. What happened here, Adam? Oh, really?
I just imagine.
We'll stop for cheese
Adam
curds
having
first,
to,
and then we'll go over it.
Oh, dude, Rob would be in heaven. I could just imagine poor Adam having to pull over like, Uncle Rob needs another 12-pack. God,
I'll have my shitty little cooler with my frozen vegetables.
Yeah, my frozen vegetables.
Now just
do you guys got any like
beer,
cheap 30-packs
out
here?
We grew up, Mark and I, in the Finger Lakes region. We have not nearly as many lakes as you do, but we have tons of lakes around us. And it has always been my greatest lament. I didn't know that a lake I grew up on when I was young, Cayuga Lake, has a monster report from the 70s. Of course, it's from the fucking 70s, the greatest era for monsters.
Yeah, totally.
Of a creature called Old Greenie that seemed to attack swimmers and like go after water skiers. But I didn't know about it as a kid. I would just drive by and I would stare at these lakes and I would hope beyond hope to see a hump come up or a swan-like head or anything. Of course, it never happened. But to live in a place that is riddled with it is just wicked. And you also have, of course, the Beast of Bray Road. That's an Elkhorn, right?
Yes. The Beast of Bray Road it's like our tentpole monster outside of the Hodag. The Hodag's the fun one, but the Bray Road Beast is the one that keeps people inside at night, the fearful one.
Right. So that's the one that really incites. That is the potential cryptid, while the Hodag, as we said earlier, is the mascot, the fun one.
Yes.
Mascot monsters, trademark 2020.
Nice.
But
pretty much every map you see that someone makes online, it's like cryptids by state. It's always the Bray Road Beast. That's what's always representing Wisconsin, and it's good. It's a good one to have represent. It's a scary one. It's the history around it is. It's got a frightening history.
I assume you've been there.
Oh yeah. I took a whole bunch of pieces of the road too. And it at the first location of one of the major sightings that broke the story, there's a whole bunch of broken roads. So of course, like taking the kids there one night, of course, the dead of night, it was around like 10, 11 o'clock at night, pitch black. And I'm playing werewolf sounds over the car radio from my iPhone. And I'm telling them all these spooky stories. It's like, the werewolf will come out of the corn, and there was high corn at the time. It was October.
Oh, it's the
and I was
worst.
I was like, here's the sign. Let's all get out of the vehicle and take a picture. And they were terrified. And I was like, yes. And I was like, let's go down where the first sighting is. And they're like, okay. I was like, you guys want to get out? And they're like, no. I was like, all right, I'll get some pieces of the road. And, I puff up my shoulders like I'm the strong dad. And as soon as I started walking away from the vehicle, I was like, oh my God, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life.
I will never see my kids again.
I kept looking back and I did that like fast walk where you're running, but it's like people can't know I'm scared. I just got to move real quick.
That's awesome.
But they all got a piece of it in their room up on their shelves. And, when people ask, it's like, what is that? Why do you have a piece of road? And it's like, oh, you haven't heard of the werewolf, have you?
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a great
Holy
souvenir.
Shit.
I stole a chunk of the Monroeville Mall where they shot Dawn of the Dead when the first time I went to Pittsburgh. You got to take the weird little things that make you happy.
Oh yeah, I got a brick from the location of the first murder in what would be Janesville. A house was built on that property, which was then reported to be haunted. They tore it down years ago, and they put up giant fences around it. So I hopped the fence and I stole the brick, and I was like, this has to come home with me. I can't let this go to waste.
Oh my God, a cursed artifact. Brilliant. I think Mark might have a story that might involve one of your expeditions.
This is a perfect time to bring this up. So way back when we started the podcast, Adam and I were talking, and he's like, oh, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm like, oh, man, that's great. Fucking Wisconsin's like, oh, my favorite serial killers are from Wisconsin because we all have favorite serial killers.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Y'all fucking know what I'm talking about.
Common.
So I mentioned Ed Gein, and Adam's like, as a matter of fact, I have some Ed Gein grave dirt. I'm like, oh my God, for fucking real? He's like, yeah, I'll send you some. I'm like, I'm giddy. Like, oh my God, I'm getting Ed Gein grave dirt because whatever. It's a little fucking ghoulish or whatever, but it's kind of fucking cool. And actually, I think Adam sent me a picture. I think didn't you send me a picture of like yourself, like at like the area where you get like the grave?
Yep, to prove that it was because there's no headstone there. So
yeah.
People have stolen the headstone so many times that the cemetery in the town refuses to even put up a new one. So
poor Ed. It's
like without the proof, it's like,
really?
oh, I got this dirt from my backyard. You just got like backyard dirt, and I'm telling you, it's
right.
So it's like I'm awkwardly standing. It's like I'm the headstone now. It's like, take my picture, dear.
So Adam's like, yeah, I'm gonna send you grave dirt. I'm like, awesome, cool. So I fucking get this package in the mail. And my wife's like, oh, you have, podcast people sending you stuff at home. I'm like, well, yeah, obviously we get mail all the time, but we have a different location. But certain people, I give them my home address, and Adam happens to be one of those people. So I open it up. I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot of dirt. And it's in this like cylinder container. And my wife goes, what is that? I go, oh, this is dirt from Ed Gein's grave. And she's like, who the fuck is Ed Gein, and why do you have dirt from his grave? And then I told her the whole story I gave her the rundown of Ed Gein. I'm like, well, actually, Ed Gein. And then I gave her the whole deal. And she's like,
did you play Dead Skin Mask by Slayer for her? Just
I
is this the story
like,
there?
Mr. Gein. So whatever, I was so fun. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, Adam, thank you so very much. So real briefly, I'm going to digress with this because this is amazing. I think Rob knows this, but this goes into a whole new fucking level of fucking weirdness. So Adam sent me a shitload of Ed Gein grave dirt. I'm like, holy fuck, he dug up the body and fucking got all this dirt. Holy shit. So I had a lot of it, and I put it like in a container, and I just, whatever. It's kind of neat. It's a little like, cool, memorabilia thing on my shelf. I had some extra stuff, and a buddy of ours, Rob and I, who owns a local business and whatnot, is also kind of like into stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, dude, I got some fucking Ed Gein grave dirt. You want a little bit? He's like, yeah, dude, fucking hit me up. Like I got like really good weed or something. So I bring him
open the trench coat and you're like, you want some dirt?
Yeah, you want some dirt from Ed Gein's grave? So I fucking bring it to him. He's like, oh man, this is so dope. And he puts it like in a little container. So whatever, we're talking about it. And one of his employees at the time happened to be there. And she is like obsessed with serial killers too. And she's like, oh my God, you got some grave dirt? That's amazing. I want to do a painting with it. And Rich, I just gave his name away, but whatever, it's fine. So our buddy is like, he's like, oh yeah, no, cool. Here, have a little bit. You can put it in your paint. You can do a painting, all this other stuff. So she tells me, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, she'll give the painting to our buddy Rich, no big deal. 3 weeks later, I get a picture on my phone. Oh, hey, Mark, the painting's ready if you want to come pick it up. I'm like, what? And I look at this painting, and it was a great painting that she did with this dirt, but it's like Ed Gein full like breasts that he cut off of a woman.
Oh my God.
Man.
Made out of like with like the grave dirt like sprinkled all over it, and I'm like, oh, how am I going to explain this to my wife? Like, how do I bring this piece of art into my house and be like, hey kids, this is Ed Gein. Oh, these breasts you see are not his. He just simply wore them as a way to, I don't know, feel okay about himself. So she took the grave dirt, she did this painting, sent me a picture. I had to come clean to my wife, like, honey, look, I think we're getting some art. It's kind of questionable. I think it's cool. I don't think you want it in the living room. It's a whole thing. Needless to say, I never actually got to painting because the girl was no longer employed there or whatever, and she took off. But a little bit of Adam's dirt, okay, a decent amount of the dirt was used to make this fucking.
Oh my God,
painting. That is amazing,
dude! I'm going to track that fucking painting down. That is when eventually this whole goddamn pandemic is over and we're in our studio. I am going to fucking find that painting and we are going to hang it.
Dude, it is one of the fucking best stories ever, where just everything that happened in a row, to the point of me having to tell my wife, you remember that dirt that I got from that cool dude in Wisconsin from the serial killer's grave? Oh, so we're getting a painting, and I'm not sure how to say no, because I don't want to reject anyone's art, because I feel as though they should be expressing themselves. And I had to show her the picture. She's like, why does he have tits? I'm like, well, they're actually not his.
Oh my God. You are the best patron ever.
Funny story hilarious. To go back to the reason why there was so much dirt is when we were there, the cemetery it's easy to find, but it's not easy to find the Gein family graves. And because so many people go to it, they have a person, who kind of patrols the cemetery. And if you're over in that area, they're just watching you, because a lot of people come in and do some really weird shit in there. So they're watching you. And I'm like, I asked my wife, I was like, is this guy following us around? And she's like, yeah, I think he is. And I was like, okay, so what do we do now? I was like, I really want to get a souvenir, as weird as that sounds. So I kind of wait till he goes in the back, and I was like, okay, now's my chance. And I kind of bend down, and the ground, it was a lot softer than I thought it was going to be at the time. So my hands went like right into the dirt, and I had this handful. I was like, okay. And then at that moment I realized I don't have a container to put any of this in. So I just start like quickly shoving it all in my pockets.
Oh my God.
So I have these pockets filled with dirt, and I kind of like run back to our vehicle, and I sit down, and I was like, what do I do with all of this? So we're finding random containers in the vehicle to I'm scooping all this dirt, and the guy starts like coming over to us, because I think he saw what I did. And I just kind of I did that awkward, just here to teach the kids stuff about history. And I kind of held up my hand. I was like, that's all we're doing. Don't need to come over here.
Don't look under my fingernails.
As your hands are just covered in dirt, and you have dirt coming out of your pockets. It's in your hood. You're like, everything's fine, man. See you later. Just a big dirt ball rolling down the road.
So I get home and I have all this dirt. And I was like, man, I did not think that through at all. Next time I will be more prepared.
Dude, I swear to God, the box you sent me was like fucking 3 pounds of earth. I'm like, holy shit. And my wife's like, what? Oh my God, what is that? And I had to explain it to her, and she's like, you're fucking weird. I was like, yeah, I know, clearly. It was fucking hilarious. But I got to find a picture of that painting. I said, I never got it. And the girl that did it is a great artist. And I never actually got it. She just kind of she left she was no longer employed
there. So are you
going
to use that painting as the picture on this podcast?
I don't, if I can find it. I got to see if I can find it. But you have no idea the stress I was under when I had to explain this to my wife, Nicole. I'm like, oh, it was so. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to hang it in the basement where no one but me can see it in the dark. And it can be my own little thing. She did not find that funny at all. She did not find it funny at all.
That's very Buffalo Billish. I'm going to hang this in the basement so no one can see it except me.
Exactly. But it was awesome. But that was actually we were a podcast just starting out, and, we didn't really have a fucking ton of listeners, and Adam and I had this little interaction. I'm like, man, this is the coolest thing I've ever got to do in a podcast. Someone sent me grave dirt from Ed Gein. That's amazing. I was like, well, boys, we've made it. It's over from here. So
everything else is a downhill slide.
Yes. Yeah, everything. Yeah, we always joke and say after episode 1, the Loveland Frogman, that's when it all started going downhill. That's where we peaked. No, actually, I'm sorry. It was Grampus is where we peaked. Grampus was the peak.
Grampus is one of my favorite. Just the whole story of Grampus makes me laugh randomly throughout the day whenever I think about it.
Just seeing that thing, like in my
hilarious.
mind, completely like breakdancing its way after virgins in the cemetery, just fucking doing literally
Just
the
catcalling
dolphin.
them.
Because what fucking choice does it have?
The dolphin.
I do. I giggle too. It's absurd. I've loved the Grampus since day one because, you know, porpoises and trees, fucking religious backdrops. It's a flawless legend.
Just imagine having to be that poor bastard that had to put it in the cart and walk it to the sea.
Oh,
like,
I know.
fuck, what a bummer. Like, what did you do to get that job? How low on the rung are you? Where they're like, yeah, get the weird demonic tree dolphin the fuck out of here. And you got to walk the thing to the sea. How far was the fucking sea?
Probably a long way.
I picture it
you gotta-
having the voice of Jerry Stiller, and it's just insulting you the entire way.
Could you imagine? Saying
That's
lewd
hilarious.
shit and being insulted. I'm not with him. I'm just taking him to the sea. Honestly, he's not my
It's
friend.
kind of like when you have that like grandparent who's just like, I was born at a different time. I don't have to change for anyone. And you're just like, yeah, sorry about the dolphin, man. It's old. What can I say?
Yeah, you know,
We'll be out of your
he's
hair
a
in a
weird.
minute.
Yeah, he's a weird demonic tree dolphin. He has different rules of society than we do. I don't know what to say. I don't agree with him. I'm just
Listen,
trying to
he's
help him
been
get back to the
officially
sea.
banished. Everything that happens from here on out is on
Yeah.
him. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome. Oh man. All right, man. Cool. So, Adam, thank you so very much for joining us. Bobby, how do you want to close this out?
I want to close this out by honestly saying again, your website is magnificent. You have tons of articles there. You have great folklore. Give us the web address, would you, Adam?
It is pinebarrensinstitute.com.
And what I like about that is that obviously it's not a regional thing. Pine Barrens is in Jersey, as everyone knows, but it's a reference to one of the great cryptozoological / paranormal phenomenons, and putting it in the context of an institute, which you break down your website, which obviously we know is a cabal or a body of people that are pursuing something. I love that agenda that you have, and I really think that's a very catchy a name, and the website is great. The fucking book is also phenomenal. I recommend all our listeners to get it. It is a collection of the original articles that were painstakingly researched and chronicled and compiled by Adam Benedict, and it is a joy to read for anyone that likes weird stuff because every page is something unique and wonderful and disturbing and fun. So, Adam, thank you for writing that book. Thank you for keeping some real academic rigor in cryptozoology. I really appreciate that, and really thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Thank you for all that. I was going to say earlier, I remember early on just kind of researching all this stuff and looking, and American Monsters and your articles were like a huge inspiration that I was reading and, gathering a lot of information from as well. So it's awesome to be here, talking to you guys also. It's a
thank you.
fantastic thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nothing but good has come from this podcast as far as I'm concerned. And the primary good is meeting other great researchers and chroniclers like yourself and meeting the listeners. Like, it's just the coolest community, and we're iconoclasts. I mean, Mark, Chris, we're definitely part of the reasons we're friends is that we're all rebellious fuckalls that are just too old to be punk rock but still have that ethos. So none of us really want to be part of a community, but being part of this community is literally the most amazing fucking thing that I think has ever happened. And
Totally.
And thank you, man. The compliments you just gave mean the world to me. I mean, we were trying to do the same thing, just present the facts the best we can in context, try to doodle out the monsters the best that I could imagine they look like. Mark still is a phenomenal designer, as you are, because you are a designer by trade, and it shows. I mean, I love the cover art. I love, everything is great. So, I know it's a mutual blowjob festival right now, and it sounds like it, but it really is genuine admiration. I'm really glad to finally have verbally met you anyway, man. And I want to say, keep up the good work. And I want to say to all our listeners, pick up Monsters in Print on Amazon. Check out pinebarrensinstitute.com. I got that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. And
there it is.
And
I
thank you.
always screw it up. So Adam, where can people find you on the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks? You're all there, right?
Yep. All of it can be found on the website, but
cool. One central
the
location.
The Instagram is just Pine Barrens Institute. Twitter is at PBI_crypto, and then Pine Barrens Institute can be found on Facebook. Not a lot goes on there. It's mostly Twitter and Instagram, but we're on all three.
Yeah, actually, you put some you like cross post articles into like our fan group and stuff like that. So any of our listeners out there in the fan group can totally find your articles that you post up there. Also, too, your TeePublic shop. How do people get there? Is that on your website as well?
Yeah, there's a
cool.
There's a tab for shop which brings you to the TeePublic. And then I also occasionally, I have a collection of like buttons and stickers and stuff. If anyone just asks, I just send them out. I enjoy doing it. I think it's cool that people want stuff. So yeah, get in touch with me.
Dude, I've got
stickers and stuff. I'll send them your way.
Literally, I have your magnet. I was lucky enough to get two. I have one on my fridge, and my front door is metal. I have another one on the front door, like with one of our magnets, and a few other that I've collected over the years of people I like. So almost every time I walk out of the house, I'm like, Pine Barrens. That's the shit. And it's a really cool logo you designed. I love it. The Wisconsin, the Sasquatch. I've actually done fan art that I'm eventually going to send you based on it just because I thought it was so awesome.
Damn, yeah, I have that Hodag drawing that you sent that is holy crap. I love
that's
that.
right.
Love that
my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was we said a while ago, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes, a token of appreciation just because.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Holy shit. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, Adam, and like I said, check out his TeePublic with his t-shirts. I fucking love the PBI logo. It's dope. And didn't you do a bunch of like new like variations of the logo as well?
Yeah, there was an updated one that quote unquote updated because not much change. I added a skull, but it's kind of like it's slowly taken on also, we're going more folklore is being incorporated as well. So it's kind of expanding, but every so often I just get bored and it's like, I'm going to do something new, throw it up there.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. So there it is. Thank you so very much, Adam Benedict, the Pine Barrens Institute, Monsters in Print, a collection of curious creatures known mostly from newspapers, available on Amazon. If you have not bought that, grab that immediately. Check that out. We're in the perfect time to read a book because we're all fucking stuck inside because of a quarantine. So, hey, you know what? There you go. Get yourself a book. Get some education. Check out Adam's website. Hit him up on the socials, the Instas, and the Twitters. Do all that. Adam, thank you so very much for hanging out with us, dude. It has been so awesome to finally get to talk to you. This is my own personal geek moment here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Loved it.
Yeah, you are really one of the key researchers of our age in terms of folklore and cryptozoological classic stuff. The work you do is obvious, and it's obviously hard, and it's dedicated, and so it's a real great resource for people like us that love this stuff. And I will be exploiting your book ad infinitum in the pods to come, and you'll get plenty of plugs from it. But I really do appreciate all the work you've done, and it's fucking the kitty's titties, as I say. Well done.
It makes me laugh because if I went and I told my wife that, she'd be like, yeah, I still don't care. You still have to like take out the garbage and stuff like that. You ain't nothing around here. So it's like, okay.
My wife is currently waiting impatiently for me to go watch McMillions with her. So
loves a paranormal expert.
No, of course not.
Speaking as a national treasure, I say tongue firmly in cheek. None of my family gives 1/3 of one fuck about any of this.
When people ask my wife what I write about, she goes, weird stuff. I was like, why don't you tell them what it really is? She's like, I don't think they care.
Yeah, painstakingly researched awesome chronicles of things that might really have happened. Yeah, no, honey, fuck that.
No,
you
we're
write
on the
about
same
weird
boat.
shit.
We're on the same boat. Awesome. We're talking to you soon.
Oh, friendship forever, die in obscurity. Well done, boys.
See ya.
That's why the Lord made beer. Goodbye, friends.